Hello and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming series. I am the Crushinator. I will be your caster tonight for this Division E matchup between the Baddest Dudes and Freedonia. The lobby just now forming. We may be looking at a slight delay waiting for one extra player, but in the meantime, let's take you to the tail of the tape and see how these two teams are coming together. The Baddest Dudes coming into tonight's matchup at 4 wins and 4 losses on their record, 9 and 10 in maps. When it comes to map choices, which they do take very often, 5 times they've chosen Tomb of the Spider Queen, and twice they've chosen Battlefield of Eternity. In terms of hero choices, we're looking at 8 games so far on Leoric, 7 on Greymane, and 6 on Garrosh. Definitely knowing which heroes they want to play are the Baddest Dudes. And now looking at Freedonia coming into tonight's match at 3 and 4, 7 and 9 on the map record. Very similar map situation. They do like first pick, but when they do choose the map, it's Tomb of the Spider Queen and Battlefield of Eternity. When it comes to those hero choices, Li Ming at 9 games played so far for Freedonia, then Blaze at 7 games, Vala at 4 games. So, two teams, very similar records, very similar map choices. We're going to see a clash of comfort, a clash on maps these teams both know very well and want to go to. And we are actually, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek, we are going to Tomb of the Spider Queen for game number 1, the favorite for both of these teams. So starting off on familiar ground here, nothing too fancy. Just making sure they want to pick up that first win with a preferred strategy. Looks like we do have a lobby with 5 players on both teams, which is fantastic. All right. Give them the heads up that I am ready. Very nice to see these two teams not at the top of Division E, both right around 500 records, which is very interesting for this matchup. Very evenly matched, so we could see a game 3. We could see this coming down to the line all the way through tonight. We'll see if they stick with those strats, stick with those preferred heroes, or if they're going to bring something spicy to the table. It is getting into the latter half of the season. These teams are very well practiced at this point. They may be looking to shake things up. Looks like things are about to get going here. Before the draft starts, let's take you over to the maps to let you know how we landed where we did. The Baddest Dudes. Oh, we got a weirdness here. You guys can't see it, but I'll just let you know. Baddest Dudes did win the coin flip and chose map pick. They banned out Alterac Pass and Volskaya Foundry. Hopefully this screen fixes itself. Freedonia banning out Braxis Holdout and Dragonshire, and the Baddest Dudes are taking us to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Let's get into the draft here, as we see Freedonia with the first ban. It's going to be a Garrosh ban to start off with. Not wanting anything to do with that Garrosh combo. Very strong for picks, especially on a small map here like Tomb of the Spider Queen. And we are going to see Zool banned out as well. Very strong wave clear. Wave clear, definitely the name of the game here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. As I scramble to get my teams all set up here. There we go, perfect. Raynor next to be taken out by Freedonia. Raynor, super meta right now, easy damage in the back line. Never go wrong with a Raynor on the squad, and it's going to be a Kael'thas ban for the side of Baddest Dudes. First pick going over to Freedonia, and it will be that favored Li Ming for Duke. Wanting that comfort here. Li Ming, not well known here on Tomb of the Spider Queen as a meta pick, but as a comfort pick, Li Ming a very high skill ceiling that can be taken advantage of here.
the Alliance above all.
Looks like we've got an Anduin and a Varian coming out for the Baddest dudes. Varian, there we go. I'm starting to catch up here. Perfect. Alright, with an Anduin and a Varian pick, they may be looking for a roaming pick comp. Let's see what the response is going to be from Freedonia. Li Ming already pretty squirrely, able to reposition with that teleport. It's going to be a Johanna and a White Mane here. Just trying to fix a part of my overlay here. Perfect. There we go. Third ban coming out here for Baddest dudes. The White Mane. They're going to ban Falstad. Interesting choice here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Falstad could have some value around that boss pit. And generally with all those walls and tight spaces, a Gust could get a lot of value here. And it looks like Baddest dudes wants nothing to do with that. They don't want Falstad breaking that engage from the Varian. Freedonia, the ban going over to them. Let's see what they don't want to see. They don't want that Diablo anywhere near them. Looks like they may be sniffing out not a taunt variant or possibly a double tank composition from Baddest dudes, choosing to ban out that Diablo there. And now coming into the second half of the draft, let's see how they want to finish that Varian blow-up. Is it going to be that taunt Varian? It looks like we've got a Jaina, a very nice combo with that Varian, putting in a ton of burst damage. And the offlane pick is going to be Leoric. Leoric, a very safe laner here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. High wave clear, very strong escape. So Giant Dwarf wanting to make sure nothing happens in that bottom lane. Be able to pick up those coins and drop them off with ease. Final two picks coming in for Freedonia. Right now, they've got some good AoE here with Johanna and White Mane. They're going to finish off here with a Vala and a Sonya. Sonya, very standard laner. Good into Leoric, good trade there. As long as Leoric can heal up his health with that W, Sonya can heal up her health with the E, so it should be a fairly standard trade there in the bottom lane for these two laners, and we're going to finish off with a Greymane. So Baddest dude's going for a very high damage, very aggressive comp here, with that Variant Taunt into the Greymane Jaina blow-up. Anduin following up with the stun. Even Leoric can come in with the Entomb, enabling all that Jaina damage. But some great catch on the side of Freedonia. White Mane, a great counter-engage healer. Johanna, a great counter-engage tank. Let's see how these compositions clash here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Let's get into game number 1. Alright, loading in to Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 1, between Baddest dudes and Freedonia. The map of choice for both of these teams. We've got a pick comp on one side, we've got a counter pick comp on the other. It's all going to come down to rotations, it's going to come down to the opportunities created by both of our squads. See who comes ahead. Looks like we're about to load in. And come on, we're almost there. Let's get there. There we go. All right, here we are on Tomb of the Spider Queen. On the left in the blue is the Baddest dudes. We're going to see Demon Grand on the Greymane. Savior will be playing Jaina. Giant Dwarf will be on that Varian. Silver Wasp on the Anduin. And Night Raven will be playing the Leoric. On the right, we have Freedonia in the red. It'll be Draven on the white main. Korsakov will be playing Vala. Xeon Zach will be on the Johanna. Duke will be playing that Li Ming. And Simp Slayer on the Sonya. Let's get into it. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Looks like the solo laner's going straight down to that bottom lane. So we're going to have a bit of 4v4 here in the middle and a possible rotation coming out from both of these teams, as is standard here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. The spray's going out. Looks like we got some friendly folks. And as the waves clash, so will these teams. Jaina going to provide a whole lot of extra wave clear. Can Varian pick up those gems on the way? Yes, they can. And Baddest Dudes getting a bit of an advantage here on this rotation, but not far behind is Freedonia, where Leoric just patiently waiting for Sonya to clear that lane. Looks like there's going to be a pretty passive battle there in the bottom. Giant Dwarf walking out to get those gems is going to have to escape through the top route, as the rest of the team coming back down to the middle to keep that rotation going. Greymane looking to sneak around this bottom side to take that camp, which means they're going to have a 4v3 temporarily here in the rotation. Giant Dwarf taking a lot of damage, but Anduin using that leap of faith to save Giant Dwarf for the meantime. Until level 4, Varian does not have a specialization, which makes him pretty weak until that level 4. Let's see if Freedonia can take advantage of that. As we see the rotation starting to form again, Duke looking to possibly interrupt it here. Choosing instead to stay in the top lane. Xeon Zach dropping those 10 gems for now. Greymane did pick up that siege camp in the bottom lane, so Sonya will have that and Leoric to tend to. As we see Varian taking a lot of damage using that parry, but not enough as Whitemane had locked on, and that will be first blood going over to Freedonia. Greymane and Anduin working on this bruiser camp. Meanwhile, no one yet on the bruiser camp for Freedonia, choosing to stick to this rotation and try to get as many gems turned in here in the early game as possible. They have split for the meantime, so the Baddest Dudes will have to cover both lanes as they crash into the top and mid walls. Level 4s coming in for both squads here, as we see Sonya getting the better of Leoric for the meantime. But again, these two heroes very high regen. Now we see Freedonia working on this bruiser camp. They're going to be able to clear out the opposing bruiser camp before theirs starts to push. But these bruiser camps definitely mess up the rotations for both of these teams, as it looks like Baddest Dudes are looking to get a little bit of structure damage. Xeon Zach coming back from that camp, and we have a safe disengage on the side of Baddest Dudes. Both teams very even in XP here in the early game. The turn-ins are about similar. The gem counts are pretty similar as well. Giant Dwarf looking for the taunt onto Johanna. Johanna still having that Iron Skin available, and we see it popped there. A good gank attempt, making sure to control that vision in the bush, but Johanna a little bit too tanky here in the early game. Hopefully they're looking to find a juicier target here on these rotations, as we see Sonya looking to drop off 11 gems here in the bottom lane, as this bruiser camp is now starting to make it to the wall. Baddest Dudes will have to clear it before going back to their top mid rotation. Li Ming lobbing out some big orbs. Varian going straight for that Vala, just ignoring Johanna entirely. Johanna does get those gems in. We see the Leap of Faith saving Varian once again here. 41 gems turned in for Freedonia, 35 for the Baddest Dudes, as both teams have about the correct number of gems for a total turn-in here. Johanna looking for Demon Grand, but looks like Greymane will get away for the meantime. 47 turned in for Freedonia. Just a quick turn-in from almost anybody will secure this first turn-in. Giant Dwarf looking to control the vision, but is driven back by Sonya. Looks like Korsakov will have the turn-in, and the first Web Weavers here at level 7 going over to Freedonia. Looks like Sonya getting some work done against this Leoric in the bottom lane, but Leoric is turning up the wave clear with that Neil Peasants. Another taunt here, this time onto the weight machine. A good follow-up by Anduin. Can Savior follow up with the damage? It will be Jaina taking out our white main player, putting them at a 4-5 disadvantage for this first turn-in. Greymane working hard to clear this top objective. Leoric actually getting pressured out a lot by the Sonya here. He's going to have to retreat behind the wall as this objective pushes in the bottom lane. And Jaina looking for the clear here. Giant Dwarf looking to harass this Johanna, leaving room for Silver Wasp and Savior to clear that objective. Night Raven had the tap, is going to need a little bit of help here as we see Freedonia rotating down. They want more on this wall. Night Raven in a little bit of trouble here, and Leoric goes down to the 3-man gank here in the bottom lane. Giant Dwarf coming in the back here is caught by Johanna for now, but the tower now taking damage is Johanna from the tower. Sonya now drawing the ire of the tower here, and it's going to have to be careful. That minus armor still at minus 20. Not only half of what it was last patch, but you see that bottom fort going down. Freedonia actually picking off the Jaina as well, but Giant Dwarf picks up those gems. Anduin with the leap of faith again. The gems mostly recovered here by the Baddest dudes. We're still on very even levels as both teams approaching level 10. Sonya dropping off those gems. It's going to be a while before Freedonia has another turn-in available. But it looks like Varian is going to drop off 15 of those 25, and it is a counter Web Weaver push for Baddest dudes. Leoric taking a lot of damage from this Sonya once again, is going to have to back without a well available, or possibly rotating to the mid lane to get that tap. Looks like he is going to back, get full health and full mana to try again with this Sonya. Level 10s coming out here for Freedonia, but not far behind is Baddest dudes with level 10s of their own. We actually see a falling sword coming out from the Johanna, going to be very helpful in engaging over the very plentiful walls here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Going to look for some tricky engages as we see Duke is frozen under the tower, and even with the cleanse, it's not enough, and Li Ming goes down to the pressure from Greymane. Ironskin is popped to escape this 4-man push in the mid lane. Leoric still battling Sonya in the bottom, but it looks like this mid fort could be in trouble here as Demon Grand is locked on. The objective is taken out, but this fort dropping so fast. Will it be enough? Not quite. They're going to have to go and knock on this fort a little bit later. Right now, Sonya working on this Leoric, but here comes the Baddest dudes. We've got a gank attempt onto the Sonya. A great entomb by the Leoric is going to seal the fate of our Sonya player. Very nice ult there from Leoric. Meanwhile, Freedonia looking to build up those coin reserves again. Still needing about 30 more here, or 20 more, before their next turn at opportunity. Duke looking to work on this top fort. That the objective got a lot of value here. Seeing on the mini-map the missing, and manages to get on out of there, but Giant Dwarf still looking around here, checking the boss pit. Oh no, Duke blinks forward and Giant Dwarf sees it. Could be in trouble here, but the jukes from Duke means he lives to lob orbs another day. Very nicely done by our Li Ming player. Both teams now working on their bruiser camps to push down the mid lane. The mid lane very important here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, as it allows access to both turn-in points and a lot of vision control. It looks like Savior being now chased out by Freedonia. Varian turning in their 3 gems. Still a lot of gems on the side of Baddest dudes. They could have another turn-in ready if they can get control of one of these turn-in points. Zeon Zach making sure to scout out. They don't want any surprise Varian attempts, as we see Leoric now escaping with that Wraith Walk. Freedonia approaching another turn-in value as we see Demon Grand with 18 gems. It's going to have to be careful out there. Is stunned by the Vala. Anduin again with a great save, but a falling sword onto the backline. Demon Grand in trouble here. A good light bomb onto Johanna means Demon Grand gives a little bit more space. Whitemane frozen in the back, but the mission is complete. Demon Grand escapes with those 18 gems. A great peel there by Baddest dudes, saving that gem total. However, with members backing, it could be the opportunity that Freedonia needs to get their turn in. Only 7 remaining gems to turn in here. Leoric helping to push this bottom lane. Both teams still even on XP here at level 13, and we could have a tussle here on this top turn in. Giant Dwarf going in on the Vala. follow-up by the Greymane is going to be enough. Vala going down here, but Savior could be next. Sonya having to back off, not wanting to go too deep into those towers. Duke taking a lot of damage, but blinking out with that teleport. Sonya just spinning to win on top of Baddest Dudes, but a taunt onto Sonya. The Unstoppable is going to be enough. A counter ult by Whitemane puts Zeal on the whole team, and that is going to be a full heal on the side of Freedonia. A great job of Whitemane for catching that engage, but still controlling this top turn-in is the Baddest Dudes. Can Demon Grand get those 19 gems off? Looks like no, they're not going to have the opportunity here. We have a taunt in the backline onto Li Ming. Giant Dwarf sitting in the middle of the team, but manages to charge back and get that Sonya kill. Very nicely done. Johanna actually taking a ton of damage there from that Curse Bullet. Is rooted, but uses that Falling Sword to disengage. But with Johanna out of the picture, that's Li Ming going down, and that's 2 kills for the side of Baddest Dudes, but a counter kill by Korsakov. And great healing by Whitemane to allow him to get out of there. A leap of faith by Anduin. Once again, saving our Varian Giant Dwarf, and it will be a blue Webweaver phase for the Baddest Dudes. Taking advantage of those kills, Leoric using that extended Wraith Walk to help soak that bottom lane, make sure those gems are coming in quickly. Another taunt onto that Vala. Varian doing a lot of damage just on his own there, taking about half of Vala's health bar with no assistance required. As we see a big push onto the top lane. Giant Dwarf looking for another taunt, possibly. But Whitemane is there to keep everyone healthy and happy. There goes that mid fort. Sonya and Leoric once again battling in the bottom lane. This mid-bottom fort looks like it'll probably be safe. The action here in the top lane. That front towers are now down. The objective a little less than half health. And it looks like the Baddest Dudes are going to have to reconsider this engage and move out. But with that middle fort opened up, that provides them a lot of vision throughout this map. Giant Dwarf looking for a possible gank here is going to see Johanna coming through. Johanna actually scouting out Giant Dwarf. Great game sense there from our Johanna player, but Vala does fall while the Falling Sword is coming down. Draven could be next. No, Draven manages to escape that Curse Bullet, not doing a lot as Whitemane was already at very low health. Duke gets hit by one wave of that Blizzard, but managing to escape, so Vala will be the only one that falls. But that is going to allow Demon Grand and Giant Dwarf to finally get those huge coin counts off of them. They're going to need a turn-in from Leoric if they want to complete this Webweaver phase, but Leoric being harassed by Sonya in the bottom lane, hoping to come up here to the top turn-in. But there's Johanna looking to stop that as well. Is Leoric going to have the opportunity to get those gems off? No, Savior did have enough. And that's going to be actually a red Webweaver phase. I didn't notice Sonya turning in the bottom lane. So that's going to be Freedonia with the counter Webweaver push. As level 16 now coming in for both teams. Could Sonya be in trouble? No, Sonya manages to get on out of there before Varian could stalk on through and look for another taunt kill. These teams very evenly matched here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's going to take a lot for one of these teams to break through here. Pushing in the mid lane is Freedonia, but instead they're going to rotate to the top as this objective is almost through. It's going to be 5 members of Freedonia pushing down this top fort, which is already at half health. But here comes the Baddest Dudes coming in for a possible flank, but thinking better of it with that structure down. Instead going to retreat to the safety of the wall to take out this objective rather than fight behind that wave. Good game sense there coming out from the Baddest Dudes. Meanwhile, Leoric has cleared that bottom Webweaver. No damage onto the wall as of now. The boss is available. All camps currently available. It looks like Freedonia is going to get some damage onto this mid wall. A very good idea since they have lost their mid fort, and this opens up a lot of extra breathing room here in the middle lane. Giant Dwarf is actually coming around, finds the Vala once again, but a great cleanse there. Is it enough to save Korsakov? No, Vala goes down. Draven tried their best. Here comes the Entomb. Draven with a lot of self-healing with that Zeal, but Whitemane is the next to fall. A fantastic Entomb meant that no escape was possible. Another 2 kills for the Baddest Dudes means that they're about to get a turn-in of their own. Will they think about boss? Oh, they could be thinking about it. There they go. They want to get a boss and a turn-in here. Savior is going to cap those web weavers, and with the boss started, it will not despawn. And with 2 members on the side of Freedonia down, there's not a whole lot they can do about this double threat push coming out from the Baddest dudes. Taking a moment to take this bruiser camp, very well scouted there by Freedonia. Getting the value that they could. We see it is a full level up, though, for the Baddest dudes, 18 to 17. Unfortunately, with this top wave so pushed in, they won't get that double push. Instead, it'll be the boss followed by the objective here in the top lane. But we've got a gank attempt onto Johanna, but that Iron Skin, just too much to handle, will retreat here to this top structure. We actually have a light bomb out. Will they find this Johanna? No, the falling sword just in time with under 300 health left, but they have caught Vala in the Ring of Frost, and that'll be Vala going down. Could this be a snowball into a keep here? The boss still at half health, the objective still at half health, and we have a full push from the Baddest dudes here in the top lane. This keep wall going down very fast. Duke doing his best to push back the Baddest dudes, but with Vala still down, we've got another taunt here onto Johanna. Falling sword not available this time. Will it be enough? Johanna goes down. And Greymane is actually going to get killed by the tower in response. A 1-for-1 trade here. They keep going down, but it could be difficult to continue moving forward here. Giant Dwarf gets the taunt onto our Sonya, but a great unstoppable from the Whitemane means that Sonya can regenerate all that health on all 4 members, but a buried alive from Leoric. Could that be enough to seal Sonya's fate? No! The buried alive comes off too soon, and Sonya just regenerating here. A great kill there onto Leoric. Duke being kept alive by Whitemane. Whitemane doing all sorts of work here with this counter push. Can the Baddest dudes escape here? Duke with 39 gems manages to snipe the Varian. Savior taking a ton of damage. Silver Wasp getting the grip and the mount. It looks like Jaina and Anduin will escape here. But wow, what a back and forth here in the top lane. As we did see the keep go down, but punished 3 kills there by Freedonia. Can they get an advantage here? Duke still holding on to those 45 gems. We see why we had that early snap pick Li Ming, even on a map like this. Very, very good job on the Li Ming here by Duke. Can he turn things around with those orbs? Level 20 is on the way for Freedonia. Sonya trying to turn here, but Demon Grand getting the interrupt for now, but is in a 1v2 situation. Gonna have to be careful here, as the rest of the Baddest dudes not in position for this interrupt, and it will be a red Webweaver phase coming in. Freedonia, only 2 forts down for now, but with a late game Webweaver push alongside this siege camp, they may be looking to target this bottom lane keep here.
Upon the blue team.
Baddest dudes looking to possibly protect this mid fort, but they're going to have to worry about the bottom lane as that Webweaver is far ahead of the others. Wanting to make sure they don't fall to counter pressure. Now seeing a Freedonia in the top lane are going to get a head start on clearing this bottom lane Webweaver. Will they be able to clear it and then go defend this top keep in time? Great job clearing there by the Baddest dudes. It looks like a rotation on the mid lane here by Freedonia. But with this Webweaver still up, that's a whole lot of damage here coming onto this mid fort. Baddest dudes choosing not to get too involved here. Night Raven looking for a buried alive, possibly. No, just looking to clear that objective. As now the top lane becomes the focus for these two teams. Can a keep wall be taken here? As we see Baddest dudes now rotating around, wanting to clear this objective and possibly get a counter engage of their own here. The orbs coming out from Li Ming are so big and so long. Hard to get an engage there, hard to even mount up with those planetary orbits being thrown their way.
My altar awaits the gems.
Looks like we've got possibly a sneaky turn in here by the Baddest Dudes, coming around out of sight, trying to get all the gems off them they can, as the rest of Freedonia working on this bruiser camp. It won't be enough for a full Webweaver turn in, but this means that they can fight mostly worry-free, at least when gems are concerned. Meanwhile, Li Ming looking to push in this top lane, possibly get this remaining structure down. Boss is actually spawning in 5 seconds here. Both teams fully alive, but Freedonia looks like they want to bait this boss. Johanna is going to get it started. Can Baddest Dudes respond? They see Freedonia is not on the map at all, clearing this top lane. The bruiser camp almost taken out, and it looks like they're actually going to rotate around towards this mid lane clear. I don't know if they're going to get there in time if they don't go right now. But here they come. Leoric is coming through the mid lane. They see that Freedonia has actually let the boss leash. Getting a little spooked there by the Leoric coming through the mid lane. Teams are going to reset here. Both teams needing a lot more gems to get this next turn in. Just 7 more gems for Baddest Dudes needed for their next turn in, and almost 40 or 50 gems here needed for Freedonia. And it looks like both teams just going to posture, possibly look for a turn in here, as it will be Baddest Dudes with the next turn in opportunity. Freedonia just desperately looking around, trying to find more gems, and we have now a boss bait by the Baddest Dudes. Freedonia just attempted this. We see Draven coming on up, scouts that bush. The Buried Alive misses, but a big taunt onto Sonya. Is that enough? The spinning is not going to be enough. Sonya going down here. Draven could be next. Jaina landing that kill as well. Duke in a whole lot of trouble. Varian landing the taunt there. And now Johanna is taken out as my internet is dropping frames. My goodness, I am fantastic at this. Thanks, Bell Canada. As we have a 5-man team wipe by the Baddest Dudes. They're going to push down this core here and seal their fate in game number 1. Very well played by both teams, but in the end, that Sonya kill, those chain stuns, just too much to handle. Game 1 goes to the Baddest Dudes. As we come into the game summary, we see 16 kills to 7 for the side of the Baddest Dudes. Varian, the taunt Varian, actually dealing the most damage this game at 52,000. Though I will say, once the Varian found a kill, it didn't take a whole lot of extra damage from his team to finish off those kills. Really, really nice work there. Leoric soaking a ton of XP there between the mid and the bottom lanes. Sonya did a great job of keeping Freedonia in that game for a long time. Whitemane, fantastic counter engages, but in the end, the burst damage from that Greymane Jaina just too much to handle, and the Baddest Dudes will take game number 1. Very well done by both of our teams here. Talk it out for you as this draft is about to get going. So let's bring you over to the blank map screen. Oh, the humanity! I'll have to let you know what happened. Just listen to the sound of my voice. The Baddest Dudes did win the initial coin toss, choosing map pick. They banned out Alterac Pass and Volskaya Foundry. Freedonia choosing to ban Braxis Holdout and Dragonshire. Tomb of the Spider Queen was picked and won by the Baddest Dudes in game number 1. Freedonia choosing first pick for game number 2. So the Baddest Dudes are taking us to Infernal Shrines. Let's get this draft going. Garrosh, banned out by Freedonia here. Once again, not wanting anything to do with the big orc. Zool, again banned out by Baddest Dudes. They definitely don't want to see that double clear. Greymane being banned out here. Maybe a possible respect ban from Freedonia. Greymane did do a lot there in game number 1 and following up those Varian kills. Let's see if Baddest Dudes didn't like what they saw from Freedonia in game number 1 and possibly want to throw off that draft. It's going to be a Kael'thas ban once again. This one of the stronger Kael'thas maps due to the living bombs working in that objective pit. And Draven will be taking the Anduin for Freedonia this time. Not wanting to see those saves that came out last game from Silver Wasp. Now with the double pick is Baddest Dudes. Let's see what their response is going to be to that Anduin. They're going to take away the Johanna and the Vala. We got a bit of a reverse draft situation as both teams wanting to throw each other off here. So let's see. Is Freedonia going to continue the hero stealing? Or are they going to throw in something else? They're going to take that Blaze. They've taken that a lot so far this season. And they're going to pick up a Tassadar here on Infernal Shrines. Tassadar, exceptional wave clear, and that wall can do a whole lot in those shrine pits. Blocking off entrances, putting a big old barrier, closing in points. It's a really, really good Tassadar map here. Third ban coming out for the Baddest Dudes. It's going to be a Deathwing ban, not wanting anything to do with the aspect of death. No funny business seems to be the ban strategy for the Baddest Dudes here. Freedonia now considering their third ban. We see Johanna, we see Vala. The comp could still really go either way, either a big wombo comp or a single target blow up with those two heroes. It's going to be a Lucio ban. Lucio can get some work done here on Infernal Shrines, a whole lot of wall riding available, and with Blaze already locked in, it's not likely they'll be able to get the Diablo in response. Savior is going to grab that Jaina once again, and Silver Wasp on the Morales here. An interesting healer choice here on Infernal Shrines. The final two picks are going to be coming out here for Freedonia. What is going to be their answer? Tassadar will be able to get quite a lot of poke in with that Q onto Morales, but Blaze will have a bit of trouble getting back there. It's going to be a Sonya and a Zul Jin coming out for Freedonia. So no Li Ming this time. Instead, choosing the Zul Jin to get some autos off onto that Johanna. Possibly get some big spinning axes back onto the Morales Vala Jaina. What will be the final pick from Night Raven here? It's going to be a Thrall. Interesting compositions. I'm interested to see whether the Morales is going to go with the Stim Drone for our Thrall, or if we're going to see some medevac shenanigans here on Infernal Shrines. Alright, game number 2 between the Baddest Dudes and Freedonia is coming in right now. Alright, once again, loading here on Infernal Shrines, getting ready for Game 2 between the Baddest Dudes, up 1-0 over Freedonia. A bit of a switcheroo here in the draft, stealing some heroes to one side, some to the other. We'll see how they clash here on Infernal Shrines. There's one more to load in and then we can get going. There it is. Once again, introducing in the blue, it is the Baddest Dudes. It's going to be Demon Grand on that Vala. Savior, once again, on the Jaina. Silver Wasp will be playing the Morales. Giant Dwarf on the Johanna. And Night Raven will be picking up that Thrall. On the right side, in the red, is Freedonia with Korsakov on the Tassadar. Xenozak on the Blaze. Simp Slayer will be playing Sonya. Duke on the Zul'jin, and Draven on the Anduin. Game number 2 is begun between our two squads. Sonya heading straight to the top lane, not wanting anything to do with this initial push. So it will be the 5v4. Thrall not respecting the sprays at the beginning, and the fight begins right away. Not quite as amicable between our two teams as we saw in game number 1. Zul'jin looking to stack up throughout this game with that baseline quest. It's going to be very important for our Zul'jin player as we see a huge stun with a wall follow-up by the Blaze and Tassadar. Some good synergy there. And it looks like our teams are going to break into rotations here, as Thrall is going to try their luck versus the Sonya in the top lane. Camp's coming up in about 10 seconds here. We'll see a rotation onto the middle, and we may see the teams move on to their respective camps here as we approach the 1 minute mark. With the Johanna, that's a lot of extra wave clear on the side of the Baddest dudes, but definitely nothing to scoff at is the wave clear of Tassadar, and we are going to see the Baddest dudes heading onto their camp. Freedonia not heading onto their camp just yet. There goes Zul'jin. It looks like they want to get one more wave of experience in the bottom here. Wave clear, not extremely fast, but there it is for the Baddest dudes. Can Freedonia get this cleaned up fast enough to prevent a possible engage? It looks like we've got a bit of a 2v2 action here in the middle lane. No trouble picking up that camp for Freedonia, but looks like Baddest dudes wants to control that mid camp as we see Freedonia looking to clear in the middle lane. Thrall doing their best with Sonya there in the top, and it will be the Baddest dudes picking up the neutral camp. A great job by Johanna interrupting those rotations, but Savior is rooted here, could be in a bit of trouble, but Morales with that healing beam, some great single target output healing with the save. Xenozat pulled out by Anduin, and it will be Freedonia having to clear this bottom camp before resuming their rotation. And Baddest dudes looking to clear the Goatman from the mid lane. Looks like Sonya may be getting the better of this exchange for the meantime. Sonya able to regenerate the health very easily in the lane where Thrall can have a bit of trouble there. So we see Vala covering that lane until Thrall can get back. Jaina now moving up to the Shaman camp, timing it well with the Shrine coming in the bottom lane. Freedonia has not yet started their Shaman camp, and we see them heading in that direction now. Shrine coming up in 5 seconds, but with neither team on the point ready to start, it looks like they're going to just get these camps taken and then head on down to the objective. A very slight experience lead for Freedonia right now, but that will be quick. That gap will be quickly closed here as both teams arriving at level 6. Looks like Baddest dudes are going to start this up right away as they see the Shaman camp was just taken. They're going to get a bit of a lead here. Already at 10 minions taken as we see Freedonia looking to come around the side here. Blaze wants an engage onto that backline, does not want to hit the Johanna, but is stopped by that Tassadar wall. Sonya once again spinning onto the entirety of Baddest dudes. Tassadar with a great amount of poke there is going to drive back Johanna for the meantime. And Freedonia takes advantage of this point. Currently 22-12, that'll be quickly swinging in the favor of Freedonia. We see Giant Dwarf has tapped, is ready to go back in on the Johanna with the minion count even. The time is now. We see a root onto that Blaze, but Anduin once again with the save. Can Sonya get those last hits? It's 27-30. Vala is going down on the side of Baddest dudes. Duke doing a great job picking up that kill. Blaze gets actually moved over a little bit by the Shrine. It is Freedonia that is going to clear out those minions first. A very, very close engage there. Blaze got tripped up on a bit of geography there, almost had a huge stun, but did not work out. We see the Punisher baited over the wall by the Iron Skin. A very important move for Johanna to make here. As we see the rest of Freedonia looking to possibly split push here, possibly just move on to their camp. Vala working on this solo camp here. Freedonia going to pick this up pretty quickly. The rest of Baddest Dudes now coming to help out our Vala player, and the mid camps will be taken. Freedonia looking to possibly move towards this camp here. Now they're looking to control this Goatman camp. A big stun onto Morales, but no follow-up to be found as they're working here on this camp. Blaze will continue to zone out Baddest Dudes to the best of his ability. They're going to have to work on this clear here or risk a possible engage. It looks like Baddest Dudes choosing to go back and reset. Thrall working on the Sonya here, mostly just going to be passively soaking at the wall in this particular matchup. As we see, the push here onto the bottom fort wall is successful. Both cannon towers going down. Anduin coming to join Tassadar and Blaze. It looks like Thrall has managed to pick up that Echo of the Elements quest completion. Just going to give him 2 charges of Chain Lightning. That's going to really increase that damage output onto Sonya. But Duke could be in a little bit of trouble here. Is caught by Johanna, slowed down. That's 2 waves of Blizzard, and going down is Duke in the middle lane. Zul'jin having no mobility, unlike that Li Ming we saw in game number 1. We'll have to be very careful with that positioning as Johanna is on the chase. A great amount of damage there coming out from Tassadar, pushing Demon Grand back, but ain't no thing. Morales will get you healed up in a jiffy. Now Thrall, possibly the target of a gank here. Can we get the stun from Sonya? The stun is there, but Blaze just missing that charge, and Thrall will get away. A good gank attempt there by Freedonia as they see level 10 coming in first, but not far behind is Baddest Dude, seeing 4 in the top lane, trying to get some value down here, get that level 10, and they will. We see the combustion coming out from Blaze, Light Bomb, Taz Dingo, Archon, and Wrath of the Berserker for Freedonia. On the other side, we've got the stun here from Vala, we've got Sundering from Thrall, as we see Sonya taking a little bit of damage under these towers. Sundering actually goes out. Could Sonya be in some trouble here? Trying to heal with the spin and manages to get out of there with just 350 health. We will see that Stim Drone from Morales, followed by Blessed Shield and Summon Water Elemental from our Jaina player, not choosing the Ring of Frost this time, instead looking for consistent single target damage and getting that chill onto a target here. Duke now pressuring the Sonya, and a great spear by the Sonya, but a counter wolf means Night Raven will get out fine, but oh no, Sonya is caught by the Vala. Blessed Shield is committed, but they do get the kill. It is a 5v4 as we see the Stim Drone coming out onto our Vala. Combustion catches 3 here. That's a lot of extra damage, and Slow Silver Wasp taking a ton of damage from that Psionic Storm, and it will be Morales going down a 1-for-1 trade here in the top lane as the Shrine becomes active. Oh no, Tassadar getting a huge amount of value, and Blaze finding the kill against Johanna, making it a 2-for-1 as Sonya moves down to the bottom lane to get some soak. Sees that they have some extra breathing room, hoping to open up a level lead, is Freedonia. Very, very nicely done here. As I take an opportunity to get a little drink of water. 21 minions at the top. It looks like the Baddest Dudes looking to pick up these camps before having to head to the top to defend this objective. Giving Sonya something to do here. Oh, we have a move across the map. Does Sonya see it coming? Sonya spinning on the camp. It is a 3, 4, 5 player engage, and Vala catching that stun. Thrall catching that root. That's Sonya going down. A great move there by Baddest Dudes to create an advantage, not let Sonya open up too much of a level lead, but we do see level 13 here coming in for Freedonia, and they're going to get this push into the top. It looks like Zul'jin and Tassadar actually moving to clear that middle lane. This fort is all but spoken for here, but unless Zul'jin can lock on, they could be in trouble, as the Punisher is now focusing onto Johanna. Frozen Punisher will turn off this fort here. Oh no, the ring just misses, but it will go down. Zul'jin currently only at 13 of 30 on his Yuan Axe quest. He's going to have to work on that, as it is very important that he finish that up for scaling in the late game. Oh no, Thrall is caught in the mid lane, It's a trade in solo lane ganks. This time Freedonia finding Night Raven, trying to clear that camp in the middle lane. Now a 5v4 for Freedonia. What are they going to do with it? It looks like they want to get this mid well. Zul'jin putting out a whole lot of damage there. The mid well will go down as Sonya looking to reclaim that bottom lane. Jaina was looking for the slows and dismounts, not quite finding them there. As we see Freedonia with a choice to make. Do they continue this mid push to try to poke down this fort? It looks like they do want this mid fort down. They do have the minions there. Vala going for the stun, not quite landing here. But Blaze landing a stun of his own. Johanna in the back, but Anduin once again in position with the save. Stim Drone is committed, but Freedonia will walk away. A great disengage there by Anduin, saving the Blaze, who was looking for an engage there and didn't quite find it. But with Draven there to pick up the slack, no problem disengaging. Sonya seeing this camp push by the Baddest dudes. We could have a fight over this point. As we see a 5v5 collapsing here, a light bomb out, and there goes Morales. Very nicely done by Freedonia. Oh, and the Jaina will go down as well. That Tassadar Q just advancing so quickly and with such a damage spike right on the tip of the whip. It looks like Freedonia going to be pushing down this bottom fort, putting them up 5 structures to 3. Also, with over a level lead here, is Freedonia looking to get level 16. We see the hero kill XP, very, very good for Freedonia here. And that's really all that separates these two teams. Mercenaries and minions pretty similar. A few more minions on the side of Freedonia. But with that stored XP in these towers and these forts, Baddest dudes only needs one favorable team fight to really turn these levels around. Freedonia now making sure to pick up as many camps as possible before this middle Arcane Shrine comes up. We see a 16 to 15 advantage. Will they look for a fight here? It looks like they're just going to go and get this Shaman camp started. Still 10 seconds until the Baddest dudes can take their Shaman camp. They're going to have to work on clearing this bottom lane, clearing this mid lane, so that they have an approach angle onto this middle objective. Looks like they are going to start moving onto that Shaman camp, but here comes Freedonia. They're going to have to fight over this with Giant Dwarf. The Iron Skin is out, catching 3 in that Condemn. Sundering now going out. The Light Bomb on top of the Sonya, providing that all-important shield. Combustion is out. Johanna falling, a huge combustion onto all the members of Baddest dudes. That's 3 down. Can they find Night Raven? 50 health, and Thrall will be going down as well. Just getting there a little too late are the Baddest dudes. Freedonia just rampaging across the map and finding 4 kills. Now with 2 Shaman camps pushing that top lane, poor Jaina is going to have to work on clearing this middle camp and then heading on up to deal with this massive minion wave pushing down this keep wall. Meanwhile, Freedonia wanting to get this objective going as quickly as possible here. Only needs one more wave of minions to do it. Jaina with great wave clear here, working on these Shamans. They will take out the keep wall, but will not get much else as the Baddest dudes now rezzing to clear that wave. And here comes the Arcane Punisher barreling down the middle lane. It is level 18 to 16, no 20s yet for Freedonia, but a 2-level scaling advantage means this defense is going to be that much more difficult for the Baddest dudes. Another great bait here by Giant Dwarf, getting that Punisher over the wall, taking a bunch of extra tower damage. But the super strong poke from Tassadar means that Morales is going to be very busy there in the back line. It looks like Freedonia choosing to disengage, not push their luck under these very powerful keeps. Instead, choosing to retreat back to this siege camp. They want to get level 20 as fast as they possibly can, because that is the team fight that they really want here to possibly end the game. All 3 keeps are open for a push. Looks like Freedonia, looking around the map, is spotted by Baddest dudes. Giant Dwarf checking these bushes. They're going to have to rotate safely as they know that this gank attempt is very possible. Thrall looking to control the vision here. Notices Blaze, they're going to have to be careful around that. And the map painted completely red here by Freedonia. Camps pushing in the middle and bottom lanes. This siege camp coming up in just 1 second here. That'll be pushing mid lane as well. And level 20 will be not that far away. Baddest dudes are going to have to be careful not to over push these lanes. They want to make sure that they have the opportunity to soak them safely. As Freedonia gaining a lot of map control here. Freedonia actually getting a push in before level 20. Interesting that they're choosing this engage here. Let's see what they can make of it. We see the Iron Skin being popped by Johanna. Blaze missing that stun, but the combustion does go out. They're fighting underneath the keep here, but still Jaina going down. Giant Dwarf could be next as Sonya actually getting blinded and stunned, but the Zul'jin axe is too much to handle. Demon Grand working on Tassadar in the back, but the dimensional shift has popped. And Sonya with the kill. Zionzak getting the stun. That's 3 kills for Freedonia. Level 20 is online, and Freedonia will be pushing into the core with a camp and a wave to boot. Are they actually going to go for it? No, they're actually choosing to back off here. With a level 20 advantage, they're moving on to the bottom wall. Playing it extremely safe here. Even with a 5-2 advantage, they want to make sure that nothing could possibly go wrong here on Infernal Shrines. Instead, choosing to push onto this bottom keep. This well will be taken out still. Johanna just coming up now. Vala 5 seconds from being back, which means this keep is forfeit. But it is now a 5v5 once again, and Freedonia will have to retreat and head up to this Frozen Punisher in the top lane. Bruiser camp coming up in 5 seconds for the Baddest dudes, already available for Freedonia. Freedonia is going to start here with a level 20 to 18 advantage. We actually have a stun here onto the Zul'jin, but once again saved by Anduin. Tazdingo is popped. Jaina taken out by Sonya. Night Raven now in trouble with that huge slow from Blaze. We have a root onto our Johanna, but the Iron Skin looks like the fanaticism movement speed will get them away. Only 1 kill for Freedonia. Gonna head up top, finish this shaman camp. They have a formula and they're gonna stick to it. Clearing this shaman camp. The shrine is now active. Getting this lane clear, and then Zul'jin and the rest of the squad are gonna head up to this Frozen Punisher. It is pushing down the lane with the only remaining structure, but without a wall there, a 18-minute Punisher will be getting a whole lot done here. As we see Jaina coming up in about 5 seconds, definitely not soon enough to contest this objective, but they will have the opportunity to put up one last defense. They do have this keep. They're going to have to keep their lanes clear here, as they don't want catapults piling up in either the mid or the bot lane as they attempt to put up this defense. Tassadar thinking about that shaman camp, but thinking better of it, deciding to push in with the team. We do have level 20s here coming out for the Baddest dudes, so an equal talent tier fight as this Punisher barrels down the top lane. We have a weakened keep is the only structure remaining for the Baddest dudes. The jump onto Johanna, once again, very nicely done. Trying to get as much damage onto this Punisher as possible, but still at 75% health. As it moves towards the core, Thrall is actually rooted by the objective and taken out. Demon Grand is going to have to work on the escape here, being healed up by Morales, once again rooted by the objective. Can Freedonia focus the core here? Looks like they want to get a couple more kills before the end. With this core going down to 60% health, it is academic at this point. Zul'jin starting to lock on. And there it goes, 10%, and this core is going to fall. Very nicely done by Freedonia. GG is called, and we are at 1-1 in this series. And here we have it. 1-1 in this series. We are going to go to game number 3. We saw 15 kills to 3. Freedonia with all those stuns, with the light bomb, with the combustion, with the Tassadar poke damage, just too much to handle for the Baddest dudes. And we see the win very decisively, very methodically by Freedonia. Very, very nicely done. Looks like our teams are ready. I don't have to flounder any longer. Let them know that I'm ready. Perfect. Alright, for the third and final time, let's take you over to the busted map screen. Oh my god, it's so blank. I can't believe it. Give you the quick recap. Baddest dudes banning out Alterac Pass and Volskaya Foundry. Freedonia banning out Braxis Holdout and Dragonshire. Tomb of the Spider Queen was game number 1, chosen by and won by the Baddest dudes. Game number 2, Infernal Shrines was the pick by the Baddest dudes, but Freedonia coming out on top. And now Freedonia will actually be taking us here to Battlefield of Eternity. Let's get it going. So we see Baddest dudes with the first ban. Is it gonna be that Garrosh? No, they didn't ban. They've been banning Zool and KT. It's been Freedonia that's been banning Garrosh. Is it gonna be the same set of bans here? Choosing to ban the Vala out. Vala, classic power pick here on Battlefield of Eternity. And once again, we're not gonna see our buddy Garrosh strong here on Battlefield of Eternity. If you're a crafty, if you're a wily Garrosh, you can actually throw your opponents into immortal stuns, leaving you with a whole lot of extra stun time and time to kill. So, looks like they don't want to see him on any map, but they especially don't want to see him here. Anduin now being banned away by the Baddest dudes. Looks like they're not going to prioritize that Anduin themselves, instead choosing to take it away, and it will be Greymane banned out by Freedonia. Raynor is open, but it will be Tassadar snap-picked by Demon Grand. They do not want to see that Tassadar coming out from Korsakov once again. Tassadar, not a well-known racer here on Battlefield of Eternity, but they've still got plenty of picks to pick that up. Draven is actually going to be on the Lucio, and there's that Raynor picked up by Simpslayer. Raynor, very, very top meta pick here. Lucio, once again, a map with a lot of walls, a lot of places for him to scoot around. Now, that's a very early Lucio. We may see a Diablo counter pick coming out from Giant Dwarf. We'll see which tank they choose to pick up, though both Johanna and ETC are open. But it is going to be that Varian Jaina once again that was so effective in game number 1. So not so much a race count, but a kill comp coming out here for the Baddest dudes. Savior reprising that Jaina for a third game here. Very, very comfortable on that hero. It's going to be a Leoric ban, the most played hero on the side of Baddest dudes, and a prolific offlaner here on Battlefield of Eternity, able to very quickly rotate and clear lanes with that Wraith Walk, and then return for the objective race or defense. The final ban for Baddest dudes. They see a Raynor, they see a Lucio. With Varian already picked up, will they attempt to control a tank pick? It's going to be the Blaze ban, not wanting to deal with that once again. So Tassadar removed from the equation by a pick. Blaze and Anduin removed by bans. They do not want to see that successful Freedonia draft duplicated here on Battlefield of Eternity. Xeon Zach is going to grab that Johanna. Just an all-around excellent tank here. And Korsakov actually picking up the Sonya this time, with Simpslayer grabbing that Raynor. Interesting to see if there will be a hero swap here between those two players. With the final two picks for Battlefield of Eternity. We've got 2 assassins. We've got the Varian with Anduin off the board. What is going to be their support follow-up? It's going to be Malfurion and Night Raven once again on that Thrall. Malfurion, a very classic healer for Varian, putting down that big carpet of grass while Varian keeps him in place. Jaina landing all that ice. We've got another kill comp for Baddest Dudes. What will be the answer from Freedonia in that last spot? It's going to be Orphea. Orphea, a really, really good outplay mage. Very, very nicely done. They are going to see the swap. Simslayer going back onto that Sonya, handing Raynor over to Korsakov as expected. Alrighty. Game number 3. It's all tied up between the Baddest Dudes and Freedonia. Here we go. Alright, here we go. For game number 3, loading in to Battlefield of Eternity. Once again, these teams attempting to counter each other's drafts. How will it turn out here? Here we go. For the third and final time in this series, on the left in the blue, we have the Baddest Dudes with Night Raven on the Thrall. Mad Kaiser coming in on that Malfurion. Didn't notice that switch there. Savior is going to be playing the Jaina. Giant Dwarf on that Varian. Demon Grand will be playing the Tassadar. And on the right side in the red, we have Freedonia with Simpslayer playing that Sonya. Duke will be on Orphea. Korsakov playing that Raynor. Draven will be on the Lucio. And Xeon Zack on the Johanna. One thing I did not notice was Silver Wasp was switched out for Mad Kaiser here for game number 3. So we have a different healer for the Baddest Dudes. As we see once again, the middle spray not respected by Savior. We got 2 sprays out, but that'll be it. And the wave clear battles have begun. Johanna gonna help a whole lot versus that big Tassadar wave clear. Varian once again going to suffer until level 4 comes online for the Baddest Dudes. Duke getting a bunch of damage onto that Tassadar. Jaina also taking a lot of damage. Some very slim health bars on the side of the Baddest Dudes. Could Freedonia be looking for a quick camp take in the bottom? It is still 5 seconds from spawning. A lot of damage here. Xeon Zack getting out just fine versus Giant Dwarf. As we have a wave clear battle here in the bottom lane, very strong. Johanna starting this bottom camp straight away, understanding that Varian is not going to be able to do much at this very early stage. Picking up that bottom camp for free is Freedonia, as we see once again Thrall and Sonya battling in that top lane. Sonya going to have a bit of an easier time into that Thrall, but we saw Night Raven doing a good job of safely soaking that last game. Hopefully, the same thing will be happening here. Just safely soaking there at the wall. As we see Freedonia pushing onto these cannon towers. Getting those before the first objective would be a big boon here. But with that Tassadar Jaina wave clear, getting next to those walls is going to be quite difficult. Giant Dwarf still not level 4, but looking for an engage onto Draven, getting a little bit of damage onto our Lucio player. As we approach the 2-minute 15 mark, we'll see our teams head over to their Shaman camps as they want to time those out with the objective here. Level 4s online for Freedonia. As we see the entire team wanting to get this Shaman camp going straight away. and 3 members of Baddest Dudes working on a shaman camp of their own. Varian is going to get the soak here in the bottom lane. Thrall catching the soak in the top, but Sonya coming back to catch these XP orbs. Immortals spawning in 15. Level 4 is online. We do see that taunt Varian coming out once again. We'll see if they can play it to the same effect they did in game number 1, as we see Immortals spawning in the top bottom positions here for objective number 1. And the race is on. We see Raynor is locked on with Johanna and Lucio. And Sonya actually being chased and taunted here. A nice kill by Baddest Dudes, but that does put them a little bit behind in the race. They're going to come down here looking for a defense. Can they get this defense before the halftime show is popped? It looks like they will. Johanna has to use that Iron Skin to work around that wall from Tassadar. And a successful defense for the meantime. Very little health until half here. Looking for Thrall is Freedonia. Getting a lot of damage with Thrall going to slip away, but Orphea gets killed by that Varian. Giant Dwarf once again showing what he can do on that taunt Varian. A lot of damage from Tassadar, and we see Korsakov going down. Giant Dwarf is relentless, chasing down the members of Freedonia. A successful defense, but with no one racing in the top, all they're really doing is delaying the inevitable here, as we see the poke now coming out from Johanna. Orphea coming back onto the field. Sonya looking to soak level 7 here. That long-range poke from Orphea, that is going down, but a huge taunt onto Lucio means Lucio and Orphea going down. That's 5 kills to 0 here in the early game. Just a bloodbath to start things off. But while they have as many kills as they can handle, they are behind on this objective race that are now in race positions. They're going to have to come in here for the defense. They do have the level 7, though. A big wall, but the Iron Skin stopping the escape of Johanna only temporarily. The taunt taking down Xeon. And this taunt Varian comp just taking all the kills that they want. Thrall is now back, working slowly on this Immortal damage with a 4-player defense here from the Baddest Dudes. Sonya moving to the offlane, looking for level 7 for Freedonia. They're going to want that talent tier parity before this next engage. Giant Dwarf threatening the Orphea. We do have a taunt there. A great follow-up by Malfurion. And Jaina with that Frostbolt does pick up the kill just before level 7 comes through. Thrall just now passing the halfway point on that Immortal's health, as the plan for the defense is just to sit and wait. It looks like Freedonia deciding this isn't the push we want. We're just going to go get some structure damage. How about that? Baddest Dudes now moving back into race positions. Freedonia picking up this bottom camp, since moving on to the Immortal wasn't working. Might as well get something else done on the map. And that bottom Goatman camp will spawn to help with the defense here, as we see Orphea moving to the top lane versus this Thrall is going to be outputting a lot of extra damage. We see a taunt onto our Sonya player. The root from Malfurion not quite there in time. But here comes the Immortal. Shield already gone as it pushes onto this mid gate. Level 9 about to come online for the Baddest Dudes, as we see another taunt onto our Sonya, and Sonya going down. This Malfurion Tassadar Varian combo simply cannot be stopped. As we see the objective going down, but they're looking for an engage onto our Johanna player. Xeon Zac managing to get out with his life for now. Korsakov now in the sights of Giant Dwarf, but that fort pressure a little too much for the meantime. But a full level lead for the Baddest Dudes means that level 10 is very close here, as Night Raven and Zook continuing to battle it out. Freedonia wanting to get the experience from this camp as quickly as possible. We see a 4,000 experience lead on hero kills alone for the Baddest Dudes, is giving them that 10-9 lead here at the 7-minute mark of this game number 3. The Shaman camp pushing early in the top lane for Freedonia. Thrall is going to be in a little bit of a pickle there as his clear is not so great. Jaina actually going up to help this clear means it's going to be a 4v3 in the bottom, but with 10s available, actually 10s available now for Freedonia, they could be looking for a possible pick here as we see 4 members rotating towards the middle, looking a little bit indecisive as to where they want to go here. It looks like they were thinking about that shaman camp, forgetting that they already took it. Now have level 11 to 10 as Jaina and Thrall working on this top camp. Sonya looking to clear here, will spot this camp attempt, but a little bit too late. Baddest Dudes picks up those top goatmen and are moving onto their shaman camp. Could we see an invade here from Zeon Zach? Zeon Zach will see 3, now 4 on this camp. Thrall is stuck top lane. Are we going to have a 4v4 engage here? The Blessed Shield does go out. Giant Dwarf is separated from the rest of the team. The taunt will not get much done. The Orphea ult is on top of the point. Mad Kaiser has to step off. And a great steal by Freedonia. Mad Kaiser is being followed by the Hyperion. And Malfurion will fall. As we see Freedonia, with their first kill of the game, is going to open up an advantage on this second Immortal. Getting some race done here. Sonya once again pressuring Thrall out of this top lane, but it's going to be Malfurion is not quite there yet. A good taunt onto the Johanna, patches them in the Immortal Stun. The Tassadar wall managing to squeeze by is Johanna, but Demon Grand taking a ton of damage, down to 6 health, but manages to escape. The Earthquake is out from Night Raven. Sonya on the chase is on top of Giant Dwarf. Will have to spin away here as Tassadar had to back with only a sliver of health left. Very, very nicely done. A nice turnaround here for Freedonia as they're looking at a close to full shield Immortal. A great turnaround here as the team's coming into even ground. Orphea is getting a little close to this wall, manages to take out this cannon, but Demon Grand is here, and they actually find Sonya. They're looking for another engage. The healing from the Whirlwind just too much. Lucio with the save. Can Duke back out of there? That's a lot of damage from the Jaina, and Orphea will go down. A great counter kill here by the Baddest Dudes, but this objective still at full shield. Sonya will have to back, not wanting to be ganked here. Oh no, Sonya is around. Giant Dwarf sees it. Goes on to our Raynor player, who manages to pop the armor here. Oh my goodness, Sonya taking too much damage from the Blizzard, and the Tassadar goes down here, and it's going to be a 3v5. Freedonia is going to have to back off here and let this Immortal do as much wall damage as it can before it is taken down by the Baddest Dudes. Looks like it's still going to get at least one of those cannon towers. And we see a gank attempt on a throw on the top lane. A great push there by the Raynor. Seals Night Raven's fate. A fantastic penetrating round. Means that one extra kill for Freedonia. And a level 13 parity here for our teams. Top siege camp coming up in about 7 seconds here. Camps around the map actually all about to come up at the same time. But with Raynor backing, we have an engage here onto Zeon Zach. Uses that unstoppable to get on out of there. Can Giant Dwarf? Giant Dwarf does find the taunt, but it's a little bit too late. Too close to the walls are Freedonia. No extra kills to be found there as Raynor rejoins the team. Looking at a 5v4, looks like Baddest Dudes does not want to show just yet. They see it, but without Thrall there. Thinking about moving in, but moving a little bit too late, probably for the best, as Thrall was not ready to join them on that engage. Meanwhile, Freedonia is going to move down to this shaman camp, once again wanting to get that pushing as soon as possible. We see Baddest Dude streaking down towards this bottom siege camp. Orphea here alone for the meantime, but Sonya coming in. We'll see if the clear is fast enough to stop the Baddest Dudes from charging on into this camp. It looks like it will be. We see Thrall finishing that Echo of the Elements quest. Oh, Giant Dwarf does see 3, but choosing not to engage there. We actually see a gank attempt onto Thrall here in the top by Raynor and Johanna. Giant Dwarf looking for that Raynor, but a great dismount by Orphea means that no pick will be had for the meantime. Oh my goodness. So much action here on Battlefield of Eternity as the Immortals are spawning. We have race positions once again for our two teams. And with that Sonya Rayner already locked on, Baddest dudes are going to have to come in for the defense. Johanna out here trying to catch the Varian, but is stunned by the Immortal. Going to have to use that Iron Skin while taking a ton of damage. The big sound barrier by Lucio saving Johanna in the meantime. Sonya just having the time of her life here in the backline, but so much burst damage as Tassadar picking up the kill. Draven being forced out of there. Iron Skin forced out of Johanna once again. Can they find the taunt? It will be Johanna going down, and that is a 2-for-0 trade for the Baddest dudes. It looked like we had a great counter engage there. Johanna catching the backline. Sonya spinning to win. A great sound barrier by Lucio, but the pressure was just relentless coming out from the Baddest dudes, and they are going to start the race on the Immortal. Jaina having to go back and clean up this Goatman camp. But we have 3 racing in the top lane. We could have a bit of an issue here. We see Giant Dwarf catching the Rayner. A great carpet laid down by the Malfurion. And there goes Rayner. And now moving back to the race is the Baddest dudes. We've got 2 here on defense. We've got 2 on attack. Jaina coming in to aid the defense as well. We've got a 3v3, now a 3v4 as Johanna returning to the battlefield here. Without Tassadar, that's a lot of their burst damage. A taunt onto Sonya, a big root there, but manages to escape. Orphea ult down, Giant Dwarf taking a ton of damage. Can Giant Dwarf escape here with the aid of Malfurion? It looks like that ult is gonna be enough, but a stun onto Lucio in the back could be trouble. Giant Dwarf chasing away Sonya. We've got a taunt under the Immortal stun. Xeon Zac is going to be going down. Johanna once again taken out by the taunt into the stun circles. Giant Dwarf just doing so much work here on this Varian. And Sonya going down to the Jaina chase. Another 2 kills, but oh no, Korsakov getting caught up in that black hole, not able to finish off Demon Grand with those very powerful auto attacks. Still, both teams level 16, level 17 here coming in for the Baddest dudes. We've got a slight scaling advantage. An Immortal stun catches Orphea and Lucio there. How unfortunate for Freedonia. And a great follow-up there by the Baddest dudes, finding those 2 kills. Really, really nicely done by our Malfurion and Jaina player, waiting for those advantages and waiting to layer those cooldowns to secure kills. And we've got a huge push here onto the keep wall. Going down with ease as we see the objective now pushing onto the keep. We've still got a 5v3 situation. Jaina using that water elemental to chase Rayner out of the picture. It looks like this keep is all but gone as the Immortal is locked on. Sonya ready to brawl with that Wrath of the Berserker, but oh, we've got another charge onto Xeon Zac. Can they find the Sonya is caught again by the wall and by the root, and oh no, retreats into the Immortal spin, and Sonya will be going down. Lucio also caught. Could we see the Baddest dudes making a core push here? Giant Dwarf wants to find that Orphea. Giant Dwarf also taking a ton of damage from the core here, and Rayner picking up that kill. Mad Kaiser could be next. A fantastic defense here coming out, and that fanaticism from Johanna just too much to handle. Demon Grand goes down. Savior's gonna be next. Orphea with the chase, and that's a 5-man team wipe for Freedonia. Just massive work being put in by Duke on that Orphea. But only 3 members on the field, 2 just now coming up. What will they do with this advantage? It looks like Rayner going to be pushing in the bottom lane. Orphea going to be pushing in the top lane. Johanna looking to join. Are they looking at this bottom keep? It looks like we have 4 members pushing onto the bottom keep. Still 10 seconds before Varian is back on the field. Do they have enough time to push onto this fort? Hyperion is committed. It looks like they're going to get this bottom keep. Very nicely done here by Freedonia. This back and forth is just crazy here on Battlefield of Eternity. Choosing to steal this Shaman camp. Immortals coming up in just 15 seconds. Can they pick this up fast enough? They do. They're going to get the shaman camp, but the taunt onto Lucio, followed up by the wall. Thrall Earthquake is committed, but they do find that all-important kill onto Lucio. That's going to seriously hamper Freedonia's efforts to stop this push-in by the Baddest dudes. Great job in knowing where Freedonia was going to be and getting onto the camps here. As we see, the race is on, but Baddest dudes just a little bit faster here. Giant Dwarf looking for more kills, finding Sonya in the back. The team isn't there ready, just asserting some dominance, and now we have opposite positions. We actually have defensive positions here. That's a great thing for Freedonia. Possibly a chance to let Lucio come back up, but no, Freedonia is going to split into lanes. They want to find that level 10, but that means that a very, very healthy Immortal is going to be coming down the lanes for Baddest dudes. But look at this lane pressure for Freedonia. They're going to have no minion support for this objective at all. And that means the Baddest dudes have a choice to make. Thrall looking to clear this shaman in the top lane. We actually have two catapults looking at the core in the bottom lane, as we see the Immortal coming down the bottom lane. Still has to go through two structures. Freedonia actually in a pretty good position here, as Thrall is stuck on the defense. A 4v5 push alongside this Immortal is not going to get quite as much done here unless Giant Dwarf can find this Orphea right here, right now. The black hole is out, but Lucio with a fantastic sound barrier. Here comes Sonya with the counter push. Is it enough for Jaina? Jaina goes down. Duke is actually being taken out by the water elemental, but calls for help. Lucio with the healing and a counter kill by Freedonia. My goodness. They're going to take out this Immortal. What are they going to do with this 5v4 advantage? Thrall clearing up the top lane. Freedonia with Jaina down. There's still a possibility of that wall root taunt combo. They're going to have to be careful, but a lot of the burst damage was in that Jaina. They're going to take this bottom camp and they're going to move towards the core, possibly. Let's see what they do on this map. Jaina only down for another 20 seconds. It looks like they're going to head towards the top lane to get these catapults cleared out. Jaina coming up in just 6 seconds. Looks like Freedonia wants this game to be decided on the next objective push. But the pre-objective times have been going the way of Baddest dudes so far with that Varian pick comp. They've got the lanes pushed out, but here comes Baddest dudes looking for a flank here. Here comes Giant Dwarf. Can he find the target he wants? Is slowed down by the Johanna. A great Blessed Shield comes out. Orphea's ult is out as well. Sound Barrier is down. A lot of ults committed on both sides here, but that Earthquake slowing down the retreat of Freedonia. This Giant Dwarf is picked off by the Johanna. Orphea scooting on through that wall. Can Duke escape? Oh no. It looks like Duke will go down to that Thrall. A taunt onto Johanna. And that's the end of Johanna. Draven just managing to speed boost away, but that is 2 kills for the side of Baddest dudes. And they are going to be blasting down the top lane. With this keep gone, they're going to be heading straight onto core. But with Sonya still up, Sonya has been doing so much work for Freedonia. With the help of the core, can they put on this 3v5 defense? Giant Dwarf is taking a lot of tower shots here. Sonya is spinning, regaining that health. Can Sonya stay alive? Lucio going down here. Sonya is going to have to heal up. Jaina trying to get out of that core freeze. A taunt here onto Raynor. Can Varian find the kill? Savior taking a ton of shots from the core. Here comes Sonya, trying the best to defend, but Sonya will go down here. Raynor, the only one left alive, will actually find the kill onto Jaina. And this core is doing a lot of work for its own defense. But with 50% on the core, a taunt onto Raynor. The black hole completes the kill. Orphea back on the field, but here goes the core. Baddest Dudes picks up the win in game number 3 in glorious fashion. GG. An amazing back and forth game number 3 between our two squads. The kills say 25-9, but the back and forth, those 9 kills from Freedonia were at very opportune times. Not quite capitalizing on the advantages in the late game, but Baddest Dudes closing it out. Tassadar with a ton of damage there. We once again see Varian very high on those damage charts, playing a very aggressive brand of Taunt Varian. Let's see if we can get the Baddest Dudes in here for an interview. Looks like we are getting set. I'll head into 5. All right, we have Demon Grand from the Baddest Dudes. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you very much.
A very well-fought series, back and forth the whole time, but you come out with the win there after some very strong picks there on Battlefield of Eternity. That's got to feel good.
It does feel good. I mean, our opponents played really, really well. I mean, we were definitely fighting tooth and nail, and I got to give it up to them for putting in a great game.
Absolutely fantastic series there. Now, coming into this game, it looked like you'd put in some good research into the other team, getting some quality bans and picks there. Did you manage to find all the picks you wanted, or was Freedonia messing with your draft there?
I don't want to reveal too much because it's something we're probably going to do in the next couple games if we can get away with it. But there were a couple picks and bans we did not get that we wanted to, that would have played differently. But ultimately, we got the core of what we.
Sounds like a good plan there. We definitely saw throughout the drafts a lot of picking and counter-picking of heroes from previous games, so definitely some comfort on both teams with those hero pools. Now, if we go back to Tomb of the Spider Queen, we saw a good amount of control there coming out from you guys, and it ended up with a double boss bait and a final push there. Though there was a bit of a stalemate there at level 20, what were you thinking in those late levels when both teams didn't have enough for a turn-in, no camps left on the map? What were the comms like at that moment?
Well, it's funny that you bring it up because finishing Tomb of the Spider Queen has been an issue for us, especially in the beginning of the season, where we would take a very large control of the map and we'd have a huge structure advantage, and then somehow we'd find a way to throw it away. So once we got advantage, our offlaner said something that he has said before that we didn't listen to, and that's what cost us, which was he said, if we play the long game, we win. And so as soon as we heard that for the second time, we knew, okay, we got to play the long game. So at that point, we just made sure they couldn't turn in. They didn't get anything drastic like the boss. So we were just trying to make sure we had vision everywhere we could and grab the gems and get a turn in when we could. And then once we had vision of where they were, which I think was bot lane at the time, we were like, we might be able to burn boss. And then the call came where it was just like, you know what? No, let's bait it instead, because they know we're going to be here and there's no point in us throwing it away when we could just bait them to us and get a kill or two and possibly win the game that way. And so the way we were looking at it was we were just going to play the war of attrition, or we were going to catch them in a good fight that was favorable to us, and then we were just going to win the game that way.
Very nicely executed there, for sure. I think you definitely had the right call there in baiting the boss, as that Tomb of the Spider Queen boss pit has been the cause of many a throw here in Heroes of the Storm, for sure. Now moving on.
It's plagued us too.
Yeah. Now moving on to Infernal Shrines, that was your map pick. Another map that was very, very back and forth there. We saw some hesitance coming out from both teams, but ultimately it was Freedonia with that final push to win. Was there anything... I want to talk about the Morales pick, actually, in that game number 2. Is that a comfort pick coming out from your side, or did you see possibly that Morales Vala as your key to victory there?
That's kind of what it was. We were looking to do the Vala Morales stem and try to hard carry with Vala. I don't think we took enough engage for that to work, which is why that kind of didn't fall apart, or that did fall apart. And then honestly, it was the Anduin. They picked Anduin, and they robbed us of several kills that we knew we had, and that would have changed the course of the game if we'd gotten those kills. And especially at the very end there, we caught Zul'jin out. We hit him with Sunder. We were going to blow him up, and then all of a sudden Anduin pulled him to safety, and they rotated on us and turned the fight. And that was something that broke our ability to capitalize.
Yeah, we definitely saw Anduin with some very, very timely saves there at the end. I remember that particular Zul'jin engage. It looked like you had it there, but somehow Anduin lurking in the back, managing to get that pull, saving the game there for sure. And then we saw the Blaze ban and the Anduin ban in Game 3 as we headed into Battlefield of Eternity. We saw basically another kill comp coming out from you guys. No real traditional racers. Is that the way that you play Battlefield of Eternity most of the time, or did you find that since that was your path to victory in Game 1, you felt comfortable with that in Game number 3?
That's the way the Baddest Dudes plays every game, is with a kill comp. That's our bread and butter, and we just figured, you know what, we may not be able to outrace them, but we can sit on our Immortal and just get kill after kill after kill, which is what we did. It got us first to 10 by a large margin, and that's the way we looked to play the entire game, was let's just get kills. Eventually the death timers get long enough to where they can't race us.
Yeah, and we saw, I want to say, 8-9 kills coming out in the first 6 minutes of that game, executing extremely well on that. And just a third game of extreme back and forth, but it ended up finding those kills in the top lane and snowballing that into a victory. Finding the 2-1, very, very well done.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying so. It was definitely a on-edge match on all three.
Yeah, for sure. It was a pleasure to cast there for sure. Before I let you go, are there any shout-outs you'd like to make?
Yes, I'd like to shout out our coaches, Jamster and Saito. I'd like to shout out our manager, Cactus Ham. As always, I'd like to thank my opponents for giving us a great experience. And I want to thank my team for being the amazing people that they are, and you know, being able to keep their heads in the game no matter what happens to us. And finally, I was asked once again to thank each of my teammates' moms, so I'd like to thank them all for creating great teammates.
Shout out to all the moms out there. Fantastic stuff. Great shout out round. Demon Grand, thank you once again for joining me, and good luck going forward in the season.
And thank you so much for casting us.
My pleasure entirely. Have a good one.
You too.